So today's video is going to be largely inspired. Actually, let me just admit it. It's going to be kind of stolen from one of my favorite booktubers out on BookTube, and that is the Would You Rather Bookish edition by Murphy Napier. Hello everybody, Nora back again. So like I said in my intro, this video is not in any way original. I was watching Murphy's Would You Rather video and I had my answers to everything she was saying, and then I was like, oh, rather than just simply say them, why don't I just answer, like give my own responses to our Would You Rather questions in this video? And I'm going to link her original video where, you know, she talked about it and she gave her own answers and the reasons for it and everything, and you could see the Instagram you can see the Instagram poll down in the description bar below, so just check out that video, please do. Murphy is one of my absolute favorite booktubers out there, and this video was so much fun. I was just like, I absolutely had to do a video based on it. So I have my phone, I have my questions. I'll just go straight to it. Once again, like I said, the original video is going to be down in the description bar. Please check it out, and then you can come back and see my own answers if you want. So the very first question says, would you rather live in Hogwarts or the Shire? And you know what, the honest truth is, I am definitely going to choose the Shire, just because the Shire is definitely very peaceful, and two, the Shire is not full of professors who would put dangerous things on a school campus where, you know, curious 11-year-olds can stumble upon it. And let me tell you one thing, I was a curious child, and I'm an even curiouser, if that's a word, curiouser adult, right? So like, I would not survive a term in Hogwarts. I would not even survive half a term in Hogwarts, because I'll just be bumbling down the corridors. I'll run into Fluffy and he'll bite my head off. I can't do that. Like, my life, I like peace. I like having peace of mind. So I'll just go with the Shire, and I'll leave Hogwarts to all you more adventurous, definitely more magically adventurous folk. Like, the Shire is good for me. So the next question says, would you rather be the hero or the villain? To be honest, definitely the villain. 100% the villain. The villain has, for me, definitely are more, especially if they are done right, they are more complex, their motivations are definitely done better, and I just find them interesting. This whole study of humanity and exactly at what point we all can enter villainous territory, and you know, can we justify exactly what goes on in the heads of villains. I think villains are a form of fantasy fulfillment, you know. So what happens when it is that you finally decide that I am going to be the one calling the shots, and I'm going to throw all sense of morality, all sense of right or wrong out of the window? What matters is me being right. What matters is me winning. What matters is me being able to achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve. If it's the end of the world, this is for me to gain absolute total power. Like, I'm all for it. So definitely I would rather be the villain than the hero. I know Murphy said something about, but you know, the villain kind of dies at the end of the book, and I don't mind. I'd rather go out in a blast, still firmly rooted in my beliefs, you know, than have to deal with, like, I don't know, the heroes are just, a lot of heroes are just so self-righteous. It just annoys me. Like, if I was to say a beautiful sweet spot, definitely anti-heroes, because you know, they're not as weighed down with morality as the heroes are, but or like the villains, you know that they will not die at the end. So yeah. Third question say, would you rather try to survive with Katniss Everdeen or Arya Stark? See, let's be honest, right? Katniss is great at hunting. She's great at surviving in a dystopian world, but Arya Stark is great at surviving, period, right? And I need a girl with her skills, right? With her ability to adapt, with her assassin skills. I just need her to keep changing faces. Like, anybody that wants us dead, Arya will get to them first. And that already boosts, like, our chances of surviving, right? And of all the Stark children, she's one of the few still standing. She's got the brains. She can manipulate when the situation calls for it, And she's an assassin. She can kill. She's thrown away all that. Oh my god, I can't afford to kill people. Like, right out the window. This is what we need. We need someone who'll be like, this person needs to die for us to survive. And you know, Arya Stark will make that call and we will survive. And that's the reason why we always choose Arya. Like, she is my bae. Okay, next question says, always have to skip the first chapter or the last chapter. The answer to that, very, very simple. The first chapter. A lot of the time, the first chapter does not... Sure, a lot of things might happen in the first chapter, but you'll be able to figure things out as you go along. The last chapter, though, even if it's an epilogue, especially if it's an epilogue, I need to know where these characters are at the end, and I won't get that if I skip it. Like, take, for example, Six of Crows. Can you remember the first chapter of Six of Crows? It's all about Juiced and his annoying ass mustache. Who gives a shit? I don't care about Juiced and his mustache. I'm not necessarily thinking about him. I want to get to the dregs. I want to get to my main children, and that is the important part. It's the reason why anytime you wonder, oh, should I choose the last chapter? Just remember Juiced and his mustache, and you'll make the right decision. I promise you that. Okay, so the next question says, would you rather have unlimited books or live inside your favorite book? Like, is this a trick question? Unlimited books. Like, it just means that there are many more worlds, many more characters. My favorite book... A lot of my favorite books are grimdark fantasy. Do I look like I would survive a second in a grimdark fantasy universe? Do I look like I have the spine or the cold heart of a killer? Like, no. I'm not even fit. I can't even... No, absolutely not. Definitely unlimited books. Like, think about it. It's like unlimited books. You can lose yourself in months, in years, in books. Or I can live just like 2 seconds and then immediately someone shoots an arrow and I'm dead, just as I'm entering my favorite world. Like, no, hell no. Okay, next question says, would you rather live inside a classic romance or modern romance? I'm black, I'm queer. What does that tell you about my chances of finding love or surviving in a classic romance? No, thank you. I will take a modern romance any day, anytime. Like, yeah, definitely. Please, someone just drop me in an Alyssa Cole world. You know, who knows? Maybe I might meet Likotzi. I might meet Likotzi and she'll be like, like, I know she really likes Paola, but still, drop me in an Alyssa Cole world and I'm perfectly fine. Or Alexandra House. Like, see, like, definitely modern romance. Like, as much as I love Jane Austen and I love my Emily Bronte and my Charlotte Bronte, I would take modern romance any day. I repeat, black queer woman, hell no. Would you rather have a pet dragon or a werecat? A werecat, because like pet dragons are big and they breathe fire, and I'm thinking about how you want. Where would I house them, right? Because my apartment is really, really small. So I'm like, where would I house them? How would I feed them? See, those are the core questions. Remember when Daenerys brings the dragons and she's like, oh, what would the dragons eat? See, those are the kind of questions you ask, because dragons would not eat. You can't feed him like a slab of meat and be like, okay, fine. Like, they want an entire herd of goats. Why am I going to get an entire herd of goats? Do you know how expensive goats are in Lagos? Like, very, very expensive. No. A werecat, like, you can be like, yo, transform to your human form, and then we'll go and get dinner. And then be like, oh, go back to your tabby form. It works for both ways. Like, you know, transformation. Because, sure, some dragons can transform, but not all dragons. But a werecat, 9 times out of 10, the werecat would have a human form. Like, think about it. And if the human form of said werecat is in any way remotely attractive, that's a paranormal romance between the werecat and myself waiting to happen. I'm down for that. I'm down for that shit. Okay, next question. Would you rather try to survive a fantasy war or a dystopian war? Definitely a fantasy war. If I can I choose which fantasy war I would like to be dropped into? Please drop me in a Sarah J. Maas fantasy war. Yeah, like, but I will be nameless. Like, a lot of fantasy war, a lot of nameless characters die, but a lot of nameless characters also survive, especially in Sarah J. Maas's story. Like, based on the level, she does not really know how to, like, you know, build up the concept. I love her. You all know how much I love my Sarah J. Maas, but like, She does not know how to build up on the consequences of, the world she's building. There are no high stakes. So I feel if you put me there, I would survive. I don't mind. But a dystopian war, your girl is not going to survive at all. I'm not even going to dream of it. I'm not going to imagine for a second that I would survive, because I know the answer to that will be no. Now, it's not in the cards for me. Definitely not in the cards for me. So, fantasy war, yes. The 9th question says, would you rather face off against Voldemort or Bellatrix Lestrange? Oh my god. The answer to that is pretty simple. Voldemort. Like, I'm sorry, is that in any way a question? Definitely Voldemort. Because in the words of Hogwarts' most manipulative headmaster, Bellatrix Lestrange likes to play with her food. Huh? Nah. I'm not giving her the opportunity, the chance to remotely torture me. Like, you'll just be there. Voldemort will just be like, wham, bang, bang, I'm done. It's a and you're dead. Like, Bellatrix would torture you for the joy of torturing you. So the question is that, do I want to lose my mind or do I want to die fast? I'll take quick, easy death. Thank you very much. So definitely Voldemort. Next question. Would you rather move objects with your mind or read minds? There are legitimately people in this world who would choose read minds, and I don't know why, because telekinesis is the shit. Like, imagine being able to move anything you want with your mind. I can even move an entire bank vault out of the bank straight to my house, and I will be like $1 billion richer. Like, I can move things. Telekinesis is so freaking cool. Reading minds. I like to point out that I was that girl who was a big fan of Prue Halliwell. Like, Prue was my favorite charmed sister. Hands down. Hands down. So this should come as no surprise to anybody. If you had said the power to control minds, definitely, then I would have taken mind control, because that is like OG goals. OG power goals. But if there's no mind control, telekinesis is like a close third. Second being like portal jumping, because like being able to jump across time and space and very far distances, like that is such a cool power. It will also make it easy for me to rob stuff. Is it very obvious that I have a fascination for thieves and being able to, I don't know, rob people, banks, establishments with ease? Because I do. Okay, so next question. Would you rather live in a fantasy or science fiction? Definitely fantasy. There are too many mythical, fantastical creatures and beasts and persons that I've like wanted to meet ever since I picked up my very first fantasy book. And that was definitely an Enid Blyton. I think it was a goblin or a fairy. One of those two. But like, I've always had a fascination for wanting to live in a fantasy world. Definitely fantasy. Like, science fiction, it's mostly space, which is cool, but like, fantasy, science fiction, fantasy, science fiction. Definitely fantasy. Definitely fantasy. Like, think about it. A lot of science fiction worlds, like, even if it is that you are meeting alien life forms, they always vary across like different writers, different mythos. But a fantasy world, like, you're writing a fantasy story, you would always meet elves, there will always be goblins, there would always be fairies, there will always be brownies, there will be so many, I repeat, so many mythical, fantastical creatures in a fantasy world. Like it just, definitely fantasy. Okay, next question. Would you rather have Snape or Umbridge as a teacher? For a while, I was convinced that my answer to this question would be Snape. But then I had, like, after watching Murphy's video, and I had time to think about it, I really considered it. Do I really want to have the most abusive asshole in the history of assholes, the most abusive piece of shit teacher that there ever existed as my teacher, or Umbridge? Because yeah, I'm very opinionated, but I also have a very high sense of self-preservation, unlike, Harry in Order of Phoenix. So yeah, I think I will be able to survive Umbridge. I will just lie my fucking teeth off and say nothing to her and just pretend like I can tolerate her smiles and her cats and everything about her and her toad-like behavior. Like, I'll just be like, I can ignore you. You don't exist. As long as I don't, go in your lane, you will not like look at me. But with Snape, all you have to do is just breathe, and that motherfucker is all over you. And I'm like, no, definitely not Snape. Hell no to Snape. He legitimately had his students fucking terrified. He had his students so terrified that when Lupin released the Boggart, legitimately, Neville, his biggest fear was Snape. Do you understand the amount of mental torture for someone to picture a teacher as his biggest fear? I just can't. Severus Snape is a fucking asshole. And I'm not going to go on to one of those talks about how he did not deserve a redemption arc and he was an absolute and complete jackass, because so many of those videos are all over the internet. But I would definitely take Umbridge as my teacher any day than to try and survive for one moment with Snape. Hell no. Okay, so next question. Would you rather live with elves or fairies? Definitely fairies. Like, the reason why I love Holly Black, I love her fairy stories, I love her fairy world. It's one of the reasons why I also love Sarah J. Maas, because of her fairies. So I'm a very big fan of fairies. Elves, yeah, elves are fascinating, but fairies, I just love the fact that they are very unpredictable, and I love the fact that they definitely suffer from lots of mood swings. And I love the fact that they can be very capricious. Like, just the entirety of fairy and how you can't necessarily trust them, and you can't necessarily take their word for it, and you don't know if you're going to meet them on a good day where they will grant you your heart's desire, or you meet them on a bad day and they will legitimately put you in hell. Like, I find that fascinating. I think fairies have a lot of depth, and they are just very, very different and very interesting. So yeah, definitely fairies. Next question says, would you rather discover aliens or mermaids? Definitely mermaids. I think it's fascinating though. Imagine if I could discover a mermaid. Like, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Yeah. Aliens are the concept of aliens. I don't know, it terrifies me, because I'm thinking, would I rather discover a mermaid, kind of like was in Alexander Christie's To Kill a Kingdom, like, not even mermaid / siren, or would I rather discover an alien, kind of like in Alien the movie? And I'm like, I would take the mermaid, and like, both creatures might want to kill me, but one of them is infinitely more attractive. I would take the more attractive terror over the really terrifying one, because that one will kill me twice. One, because, oh my god, that is ugly, that's a ugly motherfucker, and one is like, oh my god, you're very beautiful, you want to kill me, please gladly kill me. So like, yeah, definitely mermaids. Okay, next question. Would you rather be cursed with the Imperials curse for 1 week or Crucio for an hour? See, I'm a very big baby. So what you're asking me is that, would I like to be tortured for an entire hour, or would I like to be mind controlled for an entire week? And honestly, not being in control of my mind is one of the most terrifying things. It's like one of my absolute biggest phobias. So I would definitely choose to be cruciated for an hour. And that is saying a lot, because your girl is a big baby, and any form of pain just has me bawling like a big child. But I would definitely take crucio over losing control and ownership of my mind, even if it's for just a week. I can't handle that. I can't handle that. Okay. So the next question says, would you rather have as a best friend Sam, that's from Lord of the Rings, Samwise, or Jean, who is from The Lies of Locke Lamora? If you saw my last video, you know that The Lies of Locke Lamora is one of the books I want to read this year. Once again, a big thank you, Anna, for recommending it to me. But I've not read it yet, so I'm just going to go with Sam, because who will not choose Sam in this scenario? Like, it's Sam. Okay, the next question says, would you rather have as a best friend Sam, still Sam from Lord of the Rings, or Ronald Weasley? And this is interesting, because I remember last question I was like, why the hell would anybody choose anybody else but Sam? But now I'm like, I would choose Ronald Weasley, just because Ron comes with his entire family. You don't just gain a best friend, you gain the entire Weasleys. And I can never pass up the chance to have Fred and George in my life. and Molly Weasley because I appreciate good food. So, and Arthur Weasley, like, and built like, I repeat, Ron comes with an entire family of Weasleys who are so fucking amazing, except for Percy. In this house, we do not know Percy. But yeah, definitely Ronald Weasley. I'm sorry, Sam, but like, get you a family like the Weasleys and then I'll choose you next time. Okay, so the next question says, would you rather have a time turner or an elder wand? Is this even a question? One device gives you the power to mess with time. Like, it legitimately gives you the power to travel in time for you to fix certain mistakes. And I have quite a lot of mistakes I've made in my past, like, quite a lot. The other one would have the darkest, most powerful wizards all chasing you so that they can kill you and grab the wand from you. Ability to correct all my past mistakes. Possible death in my future. Is this a hard, like, how? Definitely the time turner. Definitely the time turner. Like, definitely the time turner. Okay, so next question. The penultimate question, would you rather only read physical books or audiobooks? As much as I love audiobooks and I've like really fallen in love with them in the last couple of years, definitely always going to be physical books. I love the smell of books. I love the way they feel. I love being able to flip through the pages, and I love the fact that, you know, a new book smells different from an old book and smells different from a book that has been passed down the family in generations. Like, books, the way they smell, the way they look, the way they feel. The feel of the pages in between your fingers. Like, definitely physical books. Always going to be physical books. Okay, and finally the last questions. Would you rather face off against a Jabberwock or Pennywise? Definitely Pennywise. One, because he usually goes after kids. Because, you know, it's all about your fears. And let's be real though, Pennywise is scary, but I have a feeling that as an adult, I'll be able to take on Pennywise. Yeah. I think so. I think I'll be able to face off against him and survive. Just because he's had so much practice going after kids. I think having to deal with an adult for a short period might just confuse him. And I'm going to use that moment of surprise to gain the upper hand. So yes, Pennywise. I'll rather face off against Pennywise. And that would be the end of the question. All 20 of them. Once again, a big thank you for Murphy for putting together like the Would You Rather, and just I had so much fun answering these questions. I was just like, I started answering them. I'm like, no, I will do a separate video. So thank you so much for coming up with them. Thank you so much for sharing them with us. If it is that you absolutely want to also do your version, please do it. Or you can also go to Murphy's channel and just like comment on your answers in the comments bar, because you can also do that. Whichever one you want, you can always do it. But yeah, that would be the end of this video. If you like this video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.